Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. It is 2:09 in the morning here in Atlanta. I'm on a 14-hour layover. It feels like 11:09 to me since I'm based in Las Vegas, so I'm wide awake. So I figure it's a good time to film a video, right? So I do a video just like this every year where I talk about how much money I earned as a flight attendant. Now, if I were a really good YouTuber, I would do what I did last year, is write down all of my last year's numbers to compare them, but I'm not being a very good YouTuber. I actually just had to write down all of my numbers on a piece of paper here because I'm just not very well prepared. But I wanted to get this information out because if I don't do it now, I don't know when I'll make this video. So I'm going to talk about how much money I made as a flight attendant. Now, I work for a low-cost airline. My numbers at my seniority would be very, very different if I worked for Delta or American and so on and so on. My current pay rate might even be second or third year pay rate, if that. With some other airlines, but I work for a low-cost airline, so we're not paid quite as much, but my job is a lot easier and my work-life balance is really, really nice. So I'm very happy with my numbers. I have been working for my airline I'm going on to my 6th year. I have my 5th recurrent the end of March. So I've been here, I'm going into my 6th year. And let's talk about pay rate. My current pay rate is $33.94 an hour. Last year, my pay rate was $32.42. And as of next year, March, when I bump into my next pay rate, is going to be $36.10. So I'll be making $2.16 more an hour after next month, which is kind of nice. I'm very happy about that. Last year, I worked an average of, or I was paid for an average of 854 hours. So I worked 854 hours last year. If you're not a flight attendant, that doesn't really make much sense because as a regular person, you're probably working close to 2,000 hours a year. For me, and my lifestyle, we don't get paid for every hour that we work because there's lots of time that this is a very, very different topic. Let's save that for a different topic. I worked about 850 hours last year that I was credited for. The whole topic of what we get paid for, what we don't get paid for, is best left for another video. Let's just talk about numbers today. So did I confuse you thoroughly? I'm sorry. Let's just stick to the numbers. I'm going to now go through line by line all of the income that I received gross for the year. Okay, so Cloud Cash, which is the money we get for credit cards, for submitting credit card applications. Now, I don't hustle. I am also very unlucky, and very few of my applications are ever approved, and so therefore it really doesn't encourage me to do it as often as I probably should. So when I say I only earned $320 last year on credit card applications, yeah, that's not a lot. I have coworkers who make thousands and thousands, and I just don't hustle. It's kind of embarrassing. But holiday pay, $150. We get $50 for every holiday that we work. That's all I get for holiday pay. But it's all right. Lead pay. I enjoy flying lead. In my airline, lead is A, and I think that's true for most airlines. I really enjoy flying lead, and I do so whenever I can. When you fly lead with my airline, we get $2 more an hour, and I received $939.81 for working lead versus another position. Overtime, I do not hustle. I am not a hustler. I do not work a lot more than I have to. So overtime is kind of unusual for me. But I earned $3,735.74 in overtime. Per diem taxable. Now, if a trip, now do you know what per diem is? Oh, I hate repeating these things if you already know what I'm talking about. But for those uninitiated, per diem, we get paid in my airline $2.67, I believe, for every hour we're away from base on a trip. So if my check-in is at 9 p.m., I start getting paid my per diem at check-in. And then when we block in, and I think 30 minutes after from my trip, we get $2.67 for every hour there. If the trip is below 24 hours, if it's less than 24 hours, that per diem is taxed. So I don't work a lot of short trips because I want my per diem. So taxable per diem, $14.20, because I don't work turns. I don't do short trips. I like my money. Regular. Regular just means regular credited hours. Just how many hours for the basic scheduled hours I was supposed to work. I earned $28,995.84. Now, I'm not sure what that sounds like to you, but I'm pleased with that. Compared to what I was earning my first year, for those of you who were with me back then, I was on the verge of tears, honestly, quite often, because I was financially in such a difficult place. It's a different story today. Retro payment, I have no idea what that is $29.18, so I don't care what it is. Salary half overtime, something else I'm not quite even sure what that is. I don't even know what that is, but I was paid $2,828.66 for that, so maybe I care about that. So my regular per diem, what I get for the every hour I'm away on a trip longer than 24 hours is not taxed. What, Stephen? What? Every dollar I earn in per diem on a trip that's over 24 hours is non-taxable. Excuse me, I know it surprised me too. But that, so that money, that number is included in the deductions section of my paycheck, but as a negative, so it's a positive. I don't know. But, so without my per diem, I earned, last year, gross, $37,013.43. That's what I earned without my per diem. Add my per diem, which was $8,181.89. My gross pay last year, including all of everything I just talked about, was $45,195.32. Now, so $45,195.32. Now, I'm 53 years old. I was making that 15 years ago. So it's still, I'm very happy with that because I can earn my living and pay my mortgage and all that stuff. But it is still a shock. The amount of money that, the pay cut that I took when I became a flight attendant. But, so for $45,195.32. Now let's talk about my deductions, the things that I owe that they took from me. So AFA, our union, total is $600 a year in union fees. Many of my coworkers find that to be kind of a ripoff in that they don't feel our union does a lot for us. I personally am quite happy with my union. I've needed their help a number of times over the past year, and they've always been there for me. And I am very happy to be a member of a union. Very happy. And if the JetBlue thing happens, I don't want to talk about it because I really don't want it to happen. But if the JetBlue thing does happen, they have a different union. I think as a group, the two groups coming together, I think we have to decide on which union we want to represent us. And I really, 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 really hope that we stay with the AFA. But medical, I paid $1,108.08. Contrast, my employer, for some reason this is on there, what my employer paid last year for my health insurance, they paid, for me, just me, $11,218.32. I paid $1,100. They paid $11,000. So my health insurance is very good, very good. I don't need it very often because I usually don't get sick or hurt or injured. So I'm very happy with that. But I just can't believe they spend so much money on my insurance. Vision plan is $94.80. I take a full advantage of my vision plan. If you know, my wardrobe of eyewear is extensive. I love eyeglasses. Voluntary STD. Now, I've never had an STD voluntarily. Sorry, I had to. Short-term disability. That is an additional small amount of money, $204.78 that I pay. That's not required, but in the end, if I ever did have a short-term disability, they would pay a certain amount of money towards me and make that easier. So I volunteer to pay for that short-term disability payment. Basic accidental death and dismemberment, that's free. Yay, right? Dental, free, as long as we have our health insurance and vision. I think if we get vision, our dental is free. The dental's not very good, but these are plastic, so I don't usually need much help there. Basic life insurance is zero, is paid for, and long-term disability is also zero. So federal income tax, they withheld $3,766.72. Medicare was $519.25. Social Security was $2,220.25. So the deductions totaled $8,513.88. I'm sure graphics, if I were a better YouTuber, would have been much more interesting than me just blah, 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 blah. I apologize for that. But this is what you get. Information. So if we subtract $8,513.88 from $45,195.32, we end up with, $36,681.44. So that is my gross, my net, sorry, art major. That was my net pay for 2022, $36,681.44. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, because it really probably isn't for a lot of you, but I'm quite happy with that. Again, if you were with me 4 or 5 years ago and you saw that video about what I earned, the first year as a flight attendant, I think I earned like $19,000, less than $20,000. So in the course of 5 years, I've jumped from almost $20,000 to $36,000. And I think that $19,000 was actually my gross pay. I don't even know. It wasn't a lot. I cried often. So for fun, just for kicks, I started playing with some numbers. So I divided my gross income. I divided my gross income, including the per diem. And I divided that by the number of hours that I was working on average, which was 854. So if I divide my gross income by that 854, I get $52.92. So that's kind of wacky, right? So again, we're paid very differently than a regular person. So if I were to be again, working only 854 hours with that gross income, I would be making on average, or I did make on average, $52.92 an hour. Crazy. Doesn't that sound amazing? If I worked a regular hourly shift, like a very normal American, that same hourly pay, I would have just over $100,000 a year income. So yeah, I'm not getting that. If I were to divide my gross income by the average number of hours I would work for a 40-hour work week, I would be being paid about $23.54 an hour. So that's kind of where it feels like. If I were working just a regular 9-to-5 job and I were working regular hours, I've been making on average about $23 an hour. That's kind of in the real life numbers. Gross. That's gross. That's not net. So net would put me probably closer to $15 or $16 an hour. So, yeah. So, in the end, I'm very satisfied with those numbers. I would like them to be higher, and they will be in the very near future. The money does come. If I hustled a little bit more, if I worked a little harder, I could make a little bit more money at being a flight attendant. Now, I've already told you earlier, this video does not include my income streams that are both YouTube and eBay. And I'm going to put together a video about what I earn on both of those things in the future when I know those numbers more. But just for kicks, I make, let's see, on average, I think I make about $320 to $400 a month on average using being a member of YouTube. That's what I get from advertisements and things like that. There are 2 months of the year where I make more, about $800, and that would be from October and from December. So those are the 2 months I make more money because I film a lot. But I make $320 to $400 depending on the month with YouTube. And on eBay, I really have no idea how much I earned last year with eBay because sometimes I'm hugely successful and then I go days and days or a week without selling anything. I have to sneeze, excuse me. The past, I just wiped my nose and then touched my eye. Aren't I great? The past couple of days, I've sold $600, $650 on eBay, just with a handful of items. I got very, very lucky with my sales. So I have no idea what my total sales were last year for eBay. But so whatever I earned through eBay, through YouTube, I get to include with my, I get to put into my, what I earned. So I didn't do too bad last year. Now, where'd all that money go? Oh my God. Where did all that money go? It all went to Taco Bell, Panda Express, the gas station, and the supermarket for cat treats and stuff. You wouldn't believe how much I spend on cat treats. But I've been very, very lazy, and I do spend a lot of money eating out and just doing things, shopping for my things from Goodwill. The money just goes all over the place. But I have made a concerted effort to start saving money again. Right now, my savings will cover about 2 months, 2.5 months of my bills. So, I mean, I'm not doing as bad as some Americans. I mean, for some people, I'm a huge success. But I've got about 2 months, 2.5 months of my bills set aside just in case something happened, right? So my goal is to get at least 6 months saved up of my bills and things. Ideally, I'd like to save up a year of stuff because I'm getting older, but blah, blah, blah. None of this is new information or helpful. So I'm going to end this video here, and then I'm going to grab a quick bite to eat before I jump in bed and have a good night's sleep. So there you go. If you have any questions on, like, how does a flight attendant get paid? What do we get paid for? What don't we get paid for? What's taxable? What's not taxable? If you have questions about flight attendant pay, leave me a comment below, and I'll do my best to either answer it in the comment section or use it to make another video. What else should I tell you? I think that's about it. Yeah, there you go. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Fly safe. Bye.